The Graduate School of Professional Psychology is determined to be thought leaders in applying psychology to improving the human condition. And one of the ways that we do that, you're going to see very clearly through the Sturm Specialty in Military Psychology.
Tonight, you're going to hear from these 4 women veterans who will shed light on the unique contributions and experiences of women in uniform. Their stories will also challenge the narrative about women and their roles within the U.S. military. And women have been serving in the front lines of combat in recent wars, both on overt and covert operations. Lioness teams in Iraq, female empowerment and engagement teams in Afghanistan, and combat surgical support, just to name a few. Female service members perform exceptionally with their roles in the military despite institutional and cultural barriers that encumber their efforts and confound their capabilities. Military family, when it's cohesive and all of the members are respected, is an awesome thing to be a part of, and I was.
So think about this for a minute. I am in security forces. The ratio currently is about 20 to 1, female to men. So 20 men for every female in this career field. The environment when I'm deployed is predominantly male, and it values masculine characteristics and stereotypical displays of that masculinity. So coming home after 6, 7, 8 months in a combat environment, like Afghanistan, the one I described, can be very difficult. I thought I was doing really well when I came home in 2011, and it actually took 2 years of clinical training to realize that I was not doing as well as I thought. In security forces, we get several female airmen, and then they start leaving. We have even fewer NCOs, even fewer female senior NCOs, and even less senior NCOs of color. This is a difficult road to walk. I'm determined to be there, to be seen, and also to be heard. I want to be an example of female and ethnic minority leadership because it's really hard to picture yourself doing something you've never seen anyone do before that looks like you. I will continue to bring a different perspective to this conversation and fight for my airmen, all of my airmen, even the ones who haven't enlisted yet. This is why I'm still in. This is why I'm going to deploy. This is why I'm here. And my family and this why keeps me resilient.
So I mean, even starting back when I felt that call on my life, that tug on my heart in my life, day one, opposition for things I can't change. Or I'm a female, it's the way God made me, and I can't change that. And you're telling me I can't do something because of my gender. So there's about 5,000 chaplain slots in the United States Army. Sounds like a lot, huh? I did when I first got that number. Want to know how many are female on average? 85. What Sergeant Major has taught me is 5-finger friends. I have 4 people in my life that have permission to ask me the question, how are you? And you have to tell the truth. But I make appointments with myself for solitude. I also draw, color, and then the biggest reward for my resilience is what I do in my day job, which is helping veterans every single day. Because helping them heal a little bit helps me heal a little bit.
So I end up in a career field, cryptographic equipment maintenance specialist. It's a wrench turner dealing with voice and data equipment. Now that looks a lot like phones with encoded or encrypted software on them. Back then they were systems that could fill this room quite easily with components as big as my head that I needed to troubleshoot. I didn't allow for you to give me a context of African American woman or give me a context of woman. What you had to say about me was, I knew my damn job, and I insisted that that be the first thing you say about me. That group, I flew out on a prop job, an L-188 for 5 hours, just clenching, knowing that there was going to be some madness on this island when I got there, and lo and behold, there was. Small island, every job had shut down, the terminal was full. The fire department, the police department, every group of individuals that you could think about being at this terminal was there to greet this plane. I was the only woman on it. So for 1 full year, I refused to put my name on the door. I carved out some private time. I had a colleague who I went to tech school with pull me to the side and say, here's what this is. Stick with me. I will look out for you. And I'll tell you that that made all the difference in my service there. There were other things that transpired, but I'll tell you what I took away from the island is that I did phenomenal work. And I conducted and comported myself in such a way that I could meet any one of them anywhere else in the universe and stand in integrity. I did my job and I did it well.
I was a Spanish linguist in the United States Navy, and so whatever I'd have to tell you would be redacted, and none of it would make sense. So after I got out, I wasn't even aware that I was eligible for unemployment. I wasn't very good with money. I didn't know how. I come from an impoverished family, so any money we got automatically got spent on bills and food, the necessities. I'm the oldest of 6. I have 5 brothers, so I'm used to being in an environment full of men. So being in the military wasn't that much of a transition, but getting out of the military was, because I went from having the security of knowing that I'll always have a place to live. They will always provide that for me, and they will always make sure I'm fed and clothed, to having none of it at all. And so I ended up homeless, and I was living in my car, and I was donating plasma to put food in my tummy and put gas in my car to go look for jobs. I got out in 2006 during the beginning of the recession, so there were absolutely no jobs, not even for a veteran. Thought my veteran powers would open all doors. That's not true. Well, I mean, they build you up in the military, like, you're in the military. Everybody loves veterans. You're going to be awesome. You're a Spanish linguist. Yeah, in Texas, everybody speaks Spanish. If you do the work, no matter how crappy things are, if you keep just moving, and, you can cry at night. That's what nighttime's for. That's what pillows are for. I have a teddy bear. Poor guy. But you know what I'm saying? As bad as things get, you keep moving. You don't have to be incredibly intelligent to go out there and mow a lawn or wash a car. You have to swallow your pride and set your ego aside and get to work. And where you fall short, where you miss the mark, God or the universe will cover the spread for you.
Who knew that y'all could do a comedy routine? What inspired you to serve our country?
But even when I was little, I used to tell my dad, can I put your uniform on?
In retrospect, it was the only path I was going to take, quite frankly.
What do you think are the biggest challenges facing women in the military currently?
I braced myself for the harassment and the good old boy politics and everything. But what I wasn't prepared for when I was in the Navy was how much flack and how much drama I would get from my female colleagues. I believe that part of those major pressures are the fact that they're so worried that if they're not the top girl, if they're not if they're not the favored girl, that they're going to end up being the girl who gets attacked.
Women, unfortunately, are silenced. It's difficult when something happens to come forward and say something or to make a report when those guys back at your shop are just going to tell you that, oh, you just can't handle it in this career field. You're just not good enough for this career field.
We didn't create that culture as women. We need the men to change it.
Yeah.
Buddy, back when I was in the military, I never once in my entire time served alongside a female. I was in a community exclusively made up of men doing a job completely made up of men, which I'm happy to say is no longer the case. But in my entire time, I never once worked alongside a female service member of any branch. And so I would be honored at any point to have served beside any one of you ladies. Your stories are incredible, and I really appreciate you being open, honest, and showing us that the prevailing narrative about veterans and military members is wrong. Joining the military is probably one of the most socially responsible things that a person can do. Whether somewhere deep down inside us, we desire and long to do something on behalf of our community that feels good and that makes a difference, and where other people can rely on us.
I can't tell you the amount of gratitude I feel for being able to give my career and dedicate my career to work with this population and people like these amazing women. One of our reasons for tonight's event was because we wanted to highlight the unique and similar experiences that women in the military experience. Although they oftentimes have to experience more adversity and discrimination, they continue to serve our country, forge forward, and give back to our community, as we've seen tonight. And the mission of the Sturm Specialty in Military Psychology is directly in line with inclusive excellence in supporting underserved populations. We've had 4 primary areas of focus that we've been working on in the past year and a half. The first one is workforce development and academic training. The students involved in our program go through a year-long series of 4 classes that Dr. Hyde teaches. As of now, we will be completing the first year of courses at the end of August. We've had 25 students who have completed 1 or more courses, and we will have 10 students who will have completed all 4 of them by the end of the year. So our goal in this is to produce a new cadre of psychologists who are culturally competent to do this work. The second focus has been direct service of veteran service members and their families at the Sturm Center. We opened this clinic, this satellite clinic. It's off campus. It's our first off-campus clinic. We opened it in October of 2016, and we're providing all types of psychotherapies along with yoga and mindfulness. We've had over 100 clients call for service since October, so we're proud of that. The third focus has been research and knowledge dissemination. At this time, we've written 2 external grant proposals and submitted them. We've had 1 approved, and we're waiting to find out about the other one. We started a yoga study. We've presented at 1 international conference in Budapest and presented 7 times at national conferences and workshops. We also have 6 upcoming conference presentations. The fourth area that we've been working on is community education and outreach. Since we started, we have had contact with over 200 veteran service organizations, nonprofits, and community members. So I want to say thanks to the Graduate School of Professional Psychology and the Sturm Family Foundation for allowing us to do this. I want to say thanks to Ann Munch for being our wonderful MC tonight. I want to say thank you to Senator Bennett's office and Alicia Andrews. Thank you. Obviously, thanks to these wonderful women. Yay! And thanks to Stephanie Walton, who is the party planner here and got most of this together. Thank you for coming.